Okay, now do it again. Do it again. When it rains, it pours sometimes, right? The Warriors, it felt like they were due for a hot shooting night. You kept saying, well, they can't shoot this badly, right? And the headline, of course, is Steph 8 of 8 from 3-point range. And I really think the more interesting thing about it was the 10 assists. That's kind of what allowed him to go 8 of 8 from 3-point range. Now, towards the end, he's pulling up from the logo. He goes glass, right? There's that. But generally throughout the game, him looking to distribute and not force the issue for his own shot, not only got Wiggins 5 or 6 layups, right? But it kept him more efficient and in rhythm for the good shots. But I want to actually start with Dennis Schroeder because I thought he was the catalyst last night. And, we focused so much on how much he struggled offensively in these first 7 games or so that we haven't been paying attention to how good he's been defensively. And Tyrese Maxey is one of a handful of point guards, lead guards in the league that are just, we really have a hard time containing because of that point of attack. He's just super quick, right? And Schroeder kind of changed that equation last night. And Maxey's used to having a quickness advantage. He blows by guys. He isn't blowing by Schroeder. And he's just been super feisty defensively. He's communicating. And I think he's really helped raise the intensity back up on the defensive end. And then offensively, those 3 first quarter threes, the first one he steps into. That was the first 3 as a Warrior that I've seen him actually like step into the pass and shoot the 3, which lets you know he recognized I'm taking this shot, right? These first 5 or 6 games, he was taking them as second thoughts. He was like looking around, okay, like I guess I'll take one. He steps into that first one. Then the second one on the wing, he knows Lowry's not going to close all the way out on him with that first step. So he just smoothly takes that one. And so, the defense has come as advertised from the start, but now he's starting to figure out where he's going to get his shots on the offensive end. And I thought that gave the team a real boost to start the game as far as like, oh, this is the dude we traded for. Here he is. Let's go. This is the punch we needed, right? But also contextually, I think we gotta acknowledge that the Sixers are on the end of a long road trip, back end of a back-to-back. They blow one in Sacramento. And then honestly, when I heard Embiid was playing, I thought that favored us. Because I said it in today's breakdown. Philadelphia's dirty secret is they're better without Joel. They're better when the ball's in Maxey's hands and they can push the pace with all their wings. Joel holds the ball for 7 or 8 seconds. He's going to get you, 30 points and 10 rebounds, but I just don't know how it helps the other. He doesn't make his teammates better. Not to mention, I call him Big Casio, meaning he's just a shitty watch, right? It's terrible to watch him beat. I don't know what I would do if I had to watch him night in and night out. It's awful basketball. But I'm not, Philadelphia, again, their long road trip, but you have to take advantage of these spots in the scheduling. No one's going to feel sorry for you. The other teams have caught us in that scenario, right? We're at the end of a road trip, we're depleted, and we get run off the floor. So it's one thing to say that that's the advantage. It's the other thing to do it. And you saw them push the pace and get out early. And some of it, again, was a tired Sixers team, and some of it was a conscious effort. Now, back to Steph here. And you saw the soundbite where Kerr was like, hey, that's the first time I've pulled you out when you're hot and you didn't complain, right? And then post-game, they say, hey, Steph, you were 1 away from tying the record of 9 of 9 from 3. And he goes, well, you should have told me. He goes, I have some games to do it, right? And I just think we're seeing, even though that was a vintage Steph performance, it doesn't quite look the same, and he's not really acting the same, And so I think that Steph is kind of having trouble finding a why on a night-to-night basis. Your career is set in stone. You get the golden dagger this summer. Like, does he really believe we're a contender? Right. So beyond just father time catching up and the achy knees, I think, just as much of it is like why. He's just having a hard time getting up night in and night out. And you heard Draymond postgame talk about Reggie Miller's in the building. When Reggie's in the building, Steph gonna have a good game. That's not what that was about last night. Now, maybe some of it was just he was due to be hot, right? But you don't think Steph took a glimpse at those all-star votes, the first balloting coming out or whatever, the first results? Maybe that'll be a why for Steph in this next month or so, right? Let's talk about Kuminga. What do you have? 25 and 5. But it was the best playmaking game I've ever seen from Kuminga. Like, hands down. His willingness to give up the ball early or to make a quick read when he gets the ball in a tight spot. He only had 5 assists, but they were so loud and they were such silver platter assists, serving guys up with great looks, that it felt like he had like 8 or 9 of them. And, you hear that cliche of, oh, the game is slowing down. The game is slowing down for a guy. Like right now, to me, it seems as though that Kuminga, and I think Draymond made mention of this too, like his patience level has just risen. So now, he's able to read the floor and he's just been so much more patient. And it's no wonder, right? He knows he's going to get his 30 minutes. He's going to get his touches. And so he's just playing ball. And I think we're starting to see flashes of a playmaker that like, I don't think anybody anticipated. I didn't, right? Because that archetype of like a big wing who's super aggressive downhill, usually they kind of have a one-track mind, right? Like get downhill, do what I do. And Kuminga is starting to show these new wrinkles in phases of his game and the ability to make quick decisions and anticipate, right? And so it's super exciting, man. And I think that this is the time of the year for a lot of teams. If you're going to get it together, now is the time. We talk about Steph maybe motivated. He can't miss out of the All-Star game in his arena. Can't do that, right? So make the votes, y'all. Make the votes, Dub Nation. But if there is a time, again, if you look around the league, now we've got the Kings coming up. Was it Sunday? We got Memphis Saturday back to back. But like the Kings are in the same spot. Like it's now or never. This is the month you make a push. Are you going to be a playoff team or not? And everyone but Buddy, I don't know what to say about Buddy. I thought they should have left him in there in garbage time just so he could see the ball go in. I really don't have an explanation. It's mental at this point, right? It's mental for him. But if Schroeder's offense is going to come along, I think he is a big part of regaining our defensive intensity. And now you're getting this dynamic Kuminga hitting his stride. It really is if Draymond and Steph can be who they need to be consistently, right? Draymond was like a plus 30, pushing the ball. I have 2 days off, right? That certainly helped. But I don't think we need 8 of 8 from 3 from Steph. We don't need these 30-point nights, but 7, 8 assists, 18, 20 points. And that 7 or 8 assists means Wiggins has 15, right? Means Kuminga gets his. So I'd like to see Steph look to be a little more of a distributor at this phase in his career. But yeah, an encouraging win and one that, you take advantage on the schedule. Let's see if they can build on it over the weekend. And again, like I've said for the last week or two, this month is going to determine it all. And if they continue, that's, I think, the interesting question, right, is let's say they start playing well. We start winning games and stuff like that. Does that encourage Dunleavy and company to be more aggressive with a move? Or does it make them say, nah, we're good. We can see what we could do right now with these guys. It's hard to say. As far as the Jimmy Butler drama, right? He wants to find his joy. Jimmy is kind of a clown, bro. I'm not really feeling it at all. Like you demand a trade basically, and now you're dyeing your hair a different color for every game and dogging it, and you're 35. If Jimmy Butler was 25, 24, I'd be like, all right, this young dude, he don't know how to act right now, right? If he was like in the Kuminga situation where it was like his first big contract in the team, and you're like, all right, the young dude is kind of acting up. This dude's 35 years old acting like this. And so I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know who's going to go make that move, but I don't think it should be us, right? Unless if you could get it on a good deal, if you could get him on a good deal, it would make sense, but there's no world where that happens. So right now, I think we got to worry about the teams in front of us, like the next game up, right? And our guys getting better. How about Moses Moody? That we talk about Buddy struggling at a certain point here. Doesn't Moody deserve those minutes? Dude hasn't missed in like a week, right? There's something I got to take a closer look at his release and his shot. He still has that dip, but there's something that looks smoother about his shot right now, and it's getting a great arc on the ball. And so Lindy's starting to hit threes. That's the other thing with the rotation, right? With Pods out, GP2 out, you're seeing Lindy, all of a sudden he's making his threes. What do you know? He's getting some consistent minutes. So with Pods and GP2, set to return probably this coming week, I am a little concerned that Kerr's going to get back to just disrupting the rotation. But all in all, it feels, at least I'm hopefully optimistic, that maybe this team has caught a little second wind here, headed into 2025. They can get back to that defensive intensity. And then if they're making threes, I think we got a shot against anybody on a given night, right? As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, yo.